Welcome back to the Athletes and Culture podcast. I'm your host, Henoc Mukendi, and I'm here today with a special guest, Harry O'Brien. In today's episode, it's going to be a really touching one. We're going to take you through Harry's life story, from where he grew up to through the things that he's been through and to where he is at today. So without further ado, Harry, introduce yourself.
Hiya. So obviously, my name's Harry. I'm just a normal kid. I'm just a normal lad. You know, I love football. That's what I've always wanted to do. I was a lad's lad. I know, I just enjoyed life. I enjoyed life for most of my life, apart from 1 year. But apart from that, now I'm buzzing and can't wait to see what my life holds.
That's good. So I'd like to take it back. So where did you grow up? What area?
Yeah, I was just a local lad from, Astley, Greater Manchester.
Yeah.
And I just used to go, not like any normal kid, used to play out on my street.
Yeah.
Both my schools, my nursery were like 5 minutes away from me, nice little village. Mm-hmm. And I was just a local lad, I knew everyone around the area, the people in the shop, the people, the snack bars, just little place like that. It's just a nice little place I lived. Yeah. I love growing up there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm familiar with Astley, so I grew up in Adderton myself. So I know the kind of area and stuff like that. So growing up with football, I know everyone's football mad, United, City around there. So what was it like growing up? So obviously I know you've got an older brother that plays as well. So what role did football play in your life growing up?
Yeah. Well, I was a Liverpool fan.
Was you?
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. So I was the outcast when I was in school. Everyone's supporting United, Liverpool, United City. I'm there supporting Liverpool. I always have been. My whole family is Scousers.
Okay.
So, I've been brought up that way. But now, obviously, football's been my family. It always has been. Sport's always been my family. Mm-hmm. My granddad's played for football. He was at Everton, and then he's played like 200 other appearances for Crewe. Okay. My brother, my dad was a youngster at Everton, at a youngster, and then he kind of just, he weren't happy. He didn't want to do that anymore, and that's fair. But my brother, he's had the best career so far, and then he's been at a lot of clubs, done it. But my whole family's been very, very sporty. My mum was a England basketballer. Okay. So I've been brought up in sport, so I've always loved doing it. Yeah. But obviously football, my dad got me into that, my brothers, and as a kid, I was just always kicking a ball about, always running about. Mm-hmm. But obviously I'm a goalkeeper, but I never started as a goalkeeper. Okay. So I've got quite a bit of mad positions where I've been. Mm-hmm. So obviously as a kid, 6, 7, my dad never wanted me to be academy. Yeah. He wanted me to enjoy football, so I was training at Everton Town.
Okay. For what reason? What was the reason behind that?
He just knows what it's like. Mm-hmm. He wanted me to be happy. And I was football mad, but I weren't football mad to the point I want to be a professional footballer. Yeah. I always used to play with army figures. Yeah. I always want to be in the army. Okay. But obviously that's just me as a kid. I'm growing up, I got more into football. So about 8 and 9, I'm just enjoying my football. Mm-hmm. I was at Everton Town. Yeah. My dad was like the assistant manager with another one of his mates, and it was I just love playing football, but I was outfield. Okay, so I was a centre mid. I was a centre mid for Everton Town. Yeah, little skinhead Harry O'Brien, just nailing people. That's what I used to love to do. Used to love a big tackle. But now, so obviously in primary, I actually, when my brother was at Everton, I went to the Everton development, because he got me involved there, and I did that. And then in primary, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. So then,
what was the reason behind?
I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't do it. And as a kid, I didn't want to do it. I wasn't going to do it. Yeah, and it was that simple. Mm-hmm. And so I went, nah, I don't want to do that. About year 6, Wigan's council teams came in. Okay, yeah. So they come in school and they do sports and whatnot, and they asked me to come down. So I went there, and my brother at the time moved to Wigan. Okay. So it's kind of fit well, and then I didn't like it again. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. So I had a bit of a year out of football. I didn't try to go into clubs and whatnot, and I started a few other sports. I did boxing with my brother, with my other brother Sam, and I just kind of just chilled around for a bit. Mm-hmm. And I got into year 7. I thought, I'll start being a goalkeeper. Yeah. So I started being a goalkeeper. I went back to Wigan in about year 8, year 9, and I stayed there for 2 years. But I dislocated my knee, and it's painful. It's painful, but that's football, isn't it? Definitely. But and then so I was at Wigan, and then I was there for 2 years, and they were good for me. I'd never got a contact there. I was just there training, becoming an actual goalkeeper. Cause I was so it's not stiff, raw. Such a raw goalkeeper because I was just a lad in net. Yeah, I wasn't a goalkeeper, so they taught me all the skills and whatnot. And then by the time I got back to year 10, I thought, okay, I want to do this as a job now. Okay. So my best decision was to leave Wigan, and I went to other clubs. Yeah. I went to Preston, and then after about an 8-week trial, I signed there for 2 years until me under 16s.
So from 14 to 16 you was at Preston?
Well, about mid-14, end of season 14s to 15s.
Yeah.
But obviously then in the last year, I'm in the 16s, I dislocated my knee again.
Okay.
So it was quite hard, and I kind of not lost love for the game, but kind of just thinking, I'm worried about my knee and whatnot.
Yeah, especially when you're that young.
Yeah. So when I got back to full fitness, it was no decision time.
Yeah.
So I kind of just didn't get one, you know, and that is what it is, and that's football for you. But obviously, I went to Morecambe and I did my 2-year scholar there.
So when you left when you left Preston, did Morecambe get in touch with you, or did you have links and stuff like that? Or?
You know, we had little things. You know, obviously my family's in football, so I had my brothers contacting people, my dad contacting people, and I'm not quite sure how. I think my brother might have messaged the academy manager on LinkedIn.
Okay.
It could have been. I think it was that.
LinkedIn's powerful these days.
Yeah. So I think it was that. I think he's messaged him and he's gone. I've got my young brother he's been let go from Preston, and they said, yeah, come down. And about a month later, they offered me a scholar. Okay.
Yeah. So when you got offered your scholar, did you have to move to live there?
Yeah. So the first year. In the scholar, I lived down there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice place, but it's not for me.
Yeah. How did you find it?
You know, we was going bowling most nights just to not be bored. You know, we was just doing some of that to just keep ourselves occupied. But no, it's a nice place, and my digs are lovely. Yeah. You know, my people had my dig parents. They were amazing. They did everything for me.
So it was great, aren't they?
They were very good, and the kids that they had with me.
What were the opportunities like at Morecambe in time? So obviously when they're a professional club, but they're not, let's say, a Preston or a Wigan. Yeah. So did you find that there was more opportunities to train or play with the first team, or did you find it?
Do you know what? At the beginning, it was quite hard because we had Jim Bentley, and you know, he weren't. It was Morecambe was always the club to fight in promotion, so sometimes you didn't have enough time to get kids in. Yeah. But I had to have a goalkeeper coach on the under 18 in the scholar in the scholars team. So the goalkeepers had to go up and get goalkeeper training at least twice a week. So obviously I got in that surroundings, and you know, all the first team players of class to do me and the other keeper. Yeah. And then the first team keepers of class as well. So obviously we got used to that surrounding pretty quickly. But then things happen, you football, you have a stinker, whatnot, and then obviously COVID happened in my first year. Yeah. So it got cut short, which is quite a shame. Yeah. But then the next year it was even harder because of COVID or the bubble. It was harder to get into the first team to train. It was a lot harder. And obviously Derek Adams was in, and then it was hard, but I enjoyed it. I became a man in my 2 years there. Yeah, definitely.
Did you find a difference between having Jim Bentley as a first team manager and Derek Adams, would you say? Or?
Yeah, Jim Bentley was very, very he's very the family town man, you know. He's very everyone loved him. Yeah. You know, he's been there for donkey's years, and as a player and as obviously a coach and manager. But Derek Adams, you know, he's a new man, and he was a very good gaffer. To be fair, he was strict. You know, I've seen him shout a few times. You know, like, wow. But you can tell why he did so well with him.
Yeah, definitely. So going forward in that, so obviously in the past year, obviously I know with some people it's been starting and stopping. So were you not playing games regularly, or
no? So I think about when the old football, like the professional leagues came back, all the scholars came back as well. Okay. So in the whole most of the lockdowns, we was playing football. So but I didn't live in digs that year. I thought I'd stay at home, so I drove up with a little car school. Yeah. And we did that every day, which is probably easier, to be fair. But yeah, we played most weekends against other teams. So many COVID tests. The amount of them things I shoved up my nose is horrible. Like, it's just shocking. I hated it.
So going forward, obviously this was start of this year, and up until now. So what was the decision coming up to the end of the season?
So I kind of knew that I weren't getting a pro. And, you know, that was fine. You know, that's fine. That's football. You know, it's an opinion. It's one opinion. Yeah. There's so many clubs out there. Yeah. You know, it's a joke. But obviously, I probably knew the end of last year that I wasn't going to get one. You know, the other keeper, they favoured the other keeper, and don't get me wrong, the other keeper was a good lad. He was a good goalkeeper. Yeah. But they favoured him. You know, he brought him over from a different country. Yeah. So they spent time on him, money on him. So, you know, that's fine by me. Yeah. But I realised that I need to get something sorted. So about Christmas time, I thought, I was looking at other clubs trying to go play abroad in Spain, other clubs like that, getting agents trying to help me out. And then obviously my brother kept putting me head about going to America. Okay, and he kept putting me head because he said it's one of his biggest regrets. You know, so he kept putting me head. I was like kind of putting it off because the education side of it. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to go back to school. You know, so I didn't want to do any of that. But then obviously he got me in touch with people like Ollie Shannon, who went over there and then got drafted. Yeah, and he spoke to him and kind of started seeing more of how good it is, and you know, thought, yeah, why not? What's the worst that can happen?
That's one of my biggest regrets as well, not going over there. So once I signed, I was meant to go there on loan. But then when I left, because I was still 20, I still had the opportunity to go over there and maybe do a year or two in the college system and then hopefully get drafted. And loads of my mates that were at Sheffield United and stuff like that, I think 4 of my friends went 1 year. 2 got drafted, but 2 graduated with a degree. So like one of them, funny enough, is still out there till this day. He's been there 6 years. They said it's probably the best thing they ever did.
I mean, what's the worst can happen? You don't like it, you go home.
Exactly,
you come home,
that's true. So it takes a lot of courage to say, do you know what, I'm gonna not just go to another country, but to a whole different continent. To one, chase your dream, put yourself out your comfort zone, but knowing that you're gonna work hard, and if it does work well, there's a lot to gain. You know what I mean?
You know, you don't even get if you don't get drafted. You know, there's so many other clubs in different countries that watch it constantly. So there's always opportunities over there. There's always opportunities.
Definitely. So, since we've been speaking the last 10 minutes or so, there's a couple of things that you've said. So, when you was at Everton, you said that you didn't like it.
Yeah, the development squad.
And then the same at Wigan. So was that the development squad? So
yeah. So when this was a baby, I'm playing outfield. You know, and I just weren't interested in it. I weren't interested in football. I was more interested in go out with mates on the street.
Did you find it difficult training every single day as a kid?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so hard as a kid to walk into a changing room. You know, it's very hard. You know, I just weren't about it. I'd rather enjoy playing with my mates. You know. And now my mum and dad are fine with that. My mum and dad didn't want me to go. Or say my mum and dad didn't let me go. You know, I wouldn't be happy, but if they knew that I didn't want to go, they wouldn't force me to go.
Yeah, makes sense. So they always had your back.
Yeah, of course. My family class.
Definitely.
Like, if I wanted to go to the moon, they'd back me all the way. Do you know what I mean?
That's good. That's definitely.
They might call me stupid, but they're still back.
No, definitely, it's the most important thing. If you know you've got that kind of support behind you going forward, then it's something that I feel like you'll be unstoppable in whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? So taking it back a little bit. So when you were 16, I'd say. So obviously, how we got in touch, a friend of mine, Marcus Littlewood.
Yeah, my cousin's fella.
Yeah, so he the other day when England played, he hit me up and we were just speaking and we was talking about like mental health and things like that within football, and obviously he mentioned you. And I watched your documentary, the short documentary called The Walk. We'll put the link in the bio for anyone who's not seen it. And it's about 8 minutes long. But watching that, it really touched me, and I could really relate and resonate with it. So how long ago was the incident that happened in the documentary?
About the documentary?
Yeah.
So that was in year 11.
Year 11.
About January time.
Yeah.
You know, it was the worst day of my life.
If we take it back a bit before that day, what were the months leading up to that? So
obviously I started year 11. You know, in school as a normal kid, I was fine. I'd be a lad's lad, I'd be a bit cheeky, you know, but I was always nice to people. I was always to the teachers, always say hello, always be polite. You know, sometimes I'd be a bit naughty, you know, but I was just a lad's lad. You know, I was in the popular group, the sporty group. You know, I was just one of them kids from year 7 from primary till the way till year 10. I was like that, but year 11, it was a bit different, you know. So obviously, I've started the same how I always started. Yeah, I've got 1 year left now, you know, and I'm going to the outside world, become my own man. Hopefully, at the time I was at Preston, so hopefully I was thinking I might get a contract at Preston, a scholar at Preston, and that's what I was focusing on. But obviously, I'm not the brightest kid, you know. I'm not stupid, but I'm not the 10 A stars, you know.
Academically, that's not
exactly.
Your strong point,
But I always tried, you know. I would always try and listen, take things on board, and that's always been just in life in general. But obviously, more pressure's getting put on, and I'm going out after school. I'm leaving to go train with Preston. You know, I'm not in school some days. I'm doing a release day and all that. So obviously, I'm missing lessons, and it's all kind of catching up on me. And obviously, exams are coming round. They're putting loads of homework on us. And it's obviously that's what they got to do. You know, GCSEs are important, but obviously, this is all happening about October time. We have mock exams. And in the same month, I find out that I get let go in Preston. But before this, we've got mock exams, and I'm so stressed, and I'm so worried of what's going to happen. And one night before a science exam, I hated science. You know, I absolutely hated it, and that's how it was. And one night before, I was just sat in bed, I just started crying. My eyes, I just water everywhere. I was thinking, why am I crying? Like, what is wrong with me? And I was thinking, am I all right? Why am I feeling this way? You know, I was thinking, I'm one of the main boys in school. I'm one of the lads. Why am I crying in bed by myself at night? That whole night, I just cried. I didn't stop crying, and I don't know why. Don't know why I was crying. I was confused.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was scared of why I was crying. I didn't get it.
So you couldn't understand why these emotions were coming out.
I couldn't understand it one bit. And the next day, I woke into my exam and I fell asleep. I don't think I went to bed. I literally, I might have had half an hour sleep at least. And I just went in that exam. My head was on the table straight away, and I just fell asleep. And the teachers wake me up. I'm like, nah, I'm not waking up. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. But at the same time, I used to think that I don't really need my GCSEs because I had football.
Yeah.
So I was always thinking that, and I get kicked out of my exam and I get put in isolation.
Yeah.
And the teacher at the time, Mr. Burton, who was in isolation, and you know he's a local lad as well, and my Marcus knows him, people that know him, and he's a good guy. But he just said to me, as he just said, put me in my place in isolation, and I just started crying again. I just started crying, and I was so worried and confused of why I was crying. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I was thinking, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? He's like, so he comes over and he's like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. And this is where it starts to get. That's the start of not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I weren't showing my feelings to people. I weren't saying that I weren't feeling okay, because I weren't like that. I was the main man. You know what I mean? I was the guy in school. Yeah. So that weren't happening. So then a chaplain called Sarah. Yeah. So she works very close with children who need like mental health issues, and you know, people lose family members and whatnot. And she came up, and she just came up by a coincidence really. And she went, Harry, you all right? Because obviously, every time I see Sarah, I always take the mick out of her, call her a bit of blue, because she's an Everton fan, you know. And every time she's always seen me as that kid who's like bright and happy. And then she goes, are you all right? I went, yeah, I'm fine, Sarah, don't worry about it. You know, it's sweet, I'm fine. Bit stressed, that's it, we're done. So that's happening. At the same month, most nights I'm stressing now. I'm stressing about my contract. I'm stressing about school. Yeah. And I'm never stressed about school in my life. I'm starting to stress about what I'm going to do. Most nights I'm crying in my bed. Most nights I'm confused. I'm scared. It's getting worse and worse. Yeah. But then I walk through them school gates and I've got a smile on my face.
Yeah, you've got to change your
my whole thing changes. You know, I'm laughing with my mates. I'm laughing with teachers. But inside I was thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? That same month, I walk into Preston. They say, Harry, we're not going to give you a contract. And that kind of killed me. It kind of, you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get a new club. Obviously, my mum and dad and my family obviously knew how to, and they were going to help me all the way with whatever I wanted to do. But now I was thinking, all right, what do I do now? Do I focus on my GCSEs, my football, or I don't know what to do. I was so indecisive, and you know, I was very confused. This is all happening until Christmas time, you know, and most nights I'm getting more worried, more scared. I'm not saying a single thing to anyone. I put a fake smile on my face whenever I go out my house, out my bedroom, and I didn't understand it. No one knew about it. My mum, my dad didn't know about it. My brothers didn't know about it. Anyone in school, my mates, no one had a clue. So this is all happening until Christmas time, and then we break up for Christmas for school, and then Christmas Eve, I just get a phone call, or I get woken up by my brother, and he just wakes me up saying, when you go to hospital in Liverpool, Nan's passed away. Nan's been rushed to hospital, and it killed me. I never experienced death before. Yeah. You know, even though my nan was not old, but she's quite wealthy, not wealthy, healthy, sorry. And we saw the day before, we had a party with her, she was drunk. She was drunk the night before, you know, and the next day I get rang saying she's getting rushed to hospital. So I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with death. And it sent me into a bad place. So that whole Christmas, I was just sleeping most days. You know, I didn't really train. Yeah. At night, I was crying my eyes out. I remember having one session with a goalkeeper coach called Chris, who works with the GKN, which is my glove brand where I wear. And one session, I just started saying to her, I need to do something. I don't feel good. Yeah. And about 45 minutes of the session, we're just talking. I didn't touch a ball. We're just talking. After the first time, I started to realise that I maybe needed help, but at the same time, I weren't being a lad who needs help and to help myself. Yeah. So I kind of just put it back in my mind. So this is all happening, all Christmas, crying most days, punish myself, thinking this is all my fault, no one else's fault. Yeah. No one else needs to worry, just me. And I get back to school. You know, I've had a terrible Christmas. It's not been nice when everyone passes away in your family. Yeah. And it's not a nice thing to experience. So I get back to school and I walk into Sarah's office, which is the chaplain. And I literally walk in there, my hood's up. So I used to always have my hood up in school. Yeah. I used to think, if I can't see them, they can't see me. Yeah. And I walked in there, went, Sarah, she went, hi, are you okay? Have a good Christmas? I went, nah. My nan's died, and walked off. You know, that's one of the first things I ever said to her.
Yeah.
And I had a proper conversation, and she was like, "What does she do?" You know, I just walked off. I was in a bad place.
Yeah.
So obviously, about January, on a weekend, I'm in a bad place. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what to do anymore. I got to the point where I didn't want to be here. I was happy to end my life if I get all the bad thoughts out of my head. You know, every night I was thinking I do not want to be here. And I couldn't bother with that anymore. You know,
at that time, were you still training at Preston or
every now and then?
Yeah,
every now and then. I'm trying to get to other clubs at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was.
Did they give you any, when they told you that you're not gonna get your contract? Did they give you any support in terms of like speaking to your other options, or did they give you other clubs' numbers or anything like that?
Yeah, so we had like a tournament at Wigan.
Okay.
And they told other clubs whatever about that, who's free and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they were good Preston. They were alright with me, to be fair.
Yeah.
Tom Prince, I think his name was.
Okay.
He was a good guy. But yeah, so obviously most nights I was just thinking I don't want to be here. And on a weekend in January, I left my house, and that's what led to the walk.
So obviously, like, I could relate to that, because when I was going through all the bad stuff that was happening to me at Liverpool, I did have those thoughts like, look, I don't want to be here. I didn't speak to no one for years, you know what I mean, for 3-4 years going. Leading up to that, even with your family, so let's say over Christmas when you were staying in your room and you weren't coming out and sleeping and stuff like that, did no one like pick up on it at all?
Of course. My mum would come in and say, you know, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just tired, because I used to always. I'm quite a night owl anyway. Yeah. You know, I used to always stay up late. You know, don't get me wrong. I weren't in my room every day. I'd come downstairs and whatnot, but I was very lazy in the way I was. You know, and that's how it was.
So you'd play it off as if you just relaxing and being lazy.
Used to always have my duvet downstairs, just cuddling to myself, watching movies. Yeah. But that's just because I didn't want to leave the house. I just felt so lost and confused, and obviously. You see your parents crying because they've lost a family member, your brother's crying. It's a hard time for anyone. Yeah. I weren't used to any of that, you know, so I didn't understand it. So it was very hard. That's why I enjoyed staying in my room more, because I didn't want to see them upset as well as making me feel worse. So yeah, they didn't realise. Obviously, they realised I was sad. Yeah. Because my nan passed away. Yeah. But I don't think they knew the extent of it, what I was feeling. Yeah.
So you can share as much as you want or as little as you want. So like that morning of the walk. Yeah. Like, so you just obviously.
So I woke up and I thought, I used to always describe my thoughts in my head as a civil war. So my bad thoughts and my good thoughts. And that day my bad thoughts were just, may as well have won. You know, they literally won. I woke up and I went, nah, I'm done. I am done. I got changed, got my headphones. I went, Dad, I'm going to my mate's. Yeah. My mate lived around the corner. He went, yeah, no worries, H. So I walk off and I just put music on. I'm just walking. I'm walking towards Lee and I'm thinking, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I'm done. And it was that simple. Yeah. You know, all the thoughts in my head at the time was horrific. My head was all over the place. You know, walking past the pharmacy near my house, just thinking I used to go in there to get my chicken pox done or whatever. Yeah. You know, little things like that. Going past my primary school, having like not flashbacks, but having memories of me scoring 9 goals against us in dinner time. Yeah. Just little things like that. Going past my school. Yeah. You know, think how all my mates, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know, going past the golf course. Yeah. Just remember little things like that. You know, obviously I got near Lee Cemetery and I messaged my mate saying that, and I'm done. I'm done. And it's probably a cry for help, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So when I was watching the documentary, there was a part where you said you went into the shop and then you seen people being happy. Yeah. Looking back on that now, do you think that helped in a sense to
there's a chance
to give you that chance to give you that cry of help? Because as you said, like the people were obviously you're going through the worst, and obviously you've gone into the shop and these people being happy and this, that, the other. Do you reckon that kind of triggered a different kind of thought in your head?
I it's just wanting to. Obviously, I don't know what's going in their heads as well. So that could be fake. I've been faking it in school for the last however months. Yeah. You know, but me seeing them being smiling and happy and cheerful to customers. I just wanted to be cheerful and happy, you know, like I am now. Yeah. You know, I buzz off life now, me. Yeah. But I wanted to be like that. But at the same time, I thought, I can't get that anymore. I'm too deep into it. Yeah. You know, I thought if I end it all, that'd be me being happy, at peace. But obviously, the aftermath of that would have caused would be horrific. Yeah. And I'm over the moon that I'm still here, definitely. Yeah. No, so when I messaged my mates, I said to them, like, listen, I'm done. I can't do anymore. Like, I took my mum's phone with me because I had no data.
Okay.
So I used her hotspot. And obviously my dad had his phone on him in the house. And I've just said, listen, like, I'm done, lads. I'm done with life. I can't do it anymore. I said I love him and whatnot. I said how grateful I am for him. I just couldn't stand all the pain in my head anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously they did the right thing. They're belling my phone out, and then they start belling my dad out.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously my dad rings me, and you know what, he's driving already, and he just literally shouts down the phone, where am I? And I could hear his panic in his voice. I didn't like it. It wasn't a nice feeling, and I just burst out crying. I just tears of non-stop.
Yeah.
And it was horrendous. It was, I couldn't stop. I'd literally fallen on the floor a bit nearly, crying my eyes out. And I was literally just fell apart. I said, I'm here, just come get me now. Like, come get me, I'm here, I'm gonna stay here. And about 5 minutes later he's there, and he just put me in his car and went home. And obviously we've had a lot of chats, and the rest of that day I slept, and then the rest of that night I slept, and then we got back to school, and then this is when the healing started to happen.
Yeah. So the healing process, it's not easy.
No,
I personally know. So getting back into school, what was the chat like with your friends to start? Because obviously they're the ones who, in a sense, kind of helped save your life as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was the chat like with your friends the first time you seen them?
I don't think we talked about it, if I'm honest with you, because I feel like we're all kids, we're all babies, you know, 16, no one should experience that, you know. I think you just kind of treat me the same, and that's probably helped me a lot through the times. They still give me a stick about supporting Liverpool. They still call me a Scouser, even though I'm not a Scouser. Just little things like that, you know. But every now and then, apparently, I've heard, obviously, when I've been going back into my school, the chaplain, that my mates used to come to her and say, "How's Harry?"
Yeah,
you know. So they used to always find out how I am that day when I weren't there. So they used to always check on me without me knowing they're checking up on me.
Yeah.
So but obviously I got back into school, and we had meeting after meeting with the school. Obviously I needed help.
Yeah.
I got referred to CAMS, which is like the mental health clinic and hospital for young children.
Okay.
I got put on school counselling. I dropped a subject to get less lessons.
Yeah.
Every time I went in a lesson, I was in Sarah's room. I was with one of my favourite closest teachers who I was close to, or maybe counselling. I was just talking to him, you know. But at the beginning, I still weren't talking. I still weren't being seen as that kid who's crying, who's suffering with stuff. Cause I was the kid who was always happy, always sporting, always buzzing off everyone. So most days I was in there 2-3 hours missing lessons. My HUD's up. I'm just zoned out. I'm so zoned out.
Don't want to be seen yet.
But then it's happening day by day. They're just picking at me. You know, the school were classing me. You know, they didn't stop. They didn't care about my GCSEs at this point. They weren't bothered about it. They wanted to make sure that I was going to be here. And that's what they were doing. And obviously, all the teachers knew. So every time I was in a lesson, I was feeling like I don't want to be in this lesson. I'm too getting anxious or whatnot. I just walk out and be fine with it. And little things like that. Obviously, they're picking at me. And even like one day, one of the teachers went, "How are you today, Harry?" I went, "Not the best," and walked off. But that was the first time that I actually kind of released my emotions. And school could handle that. School could deal with that then, because they know how to deal with me for that day. You know, the next day, "How are you, Harry? You feeling a bit better today?" Not really, no. But then they know how to deal with me again. And then slowly, this is a long progress. And they just keep doing it. "Oh, what feeling this weekend, Harry?" Or "How have you been the last few days?" And it's slowly I started to talk more. But then maybe I have half a good day, and then I have 4 bad days. And then I'm confused, thinking why I'm having an okay day, and then my day's getting worse and worse and worse. So school needed to help me realise that I need how to manage them bad days. And then over and over, it's just a constant repetitive thing of the same thing. And then literally some days I was in, Sarah's office or one of the teacher's office, just on the floor crying my eyes out, thinking what was wrong with me. But it was such a long progress. But I'm so grateful that they did it. And how careful they were with me, how they handled me. And then they were class. Definitely. It was such a slow progress, but they were so patient, and that was the main thing.
What was so obviously that was every day at school. What was the kind of support like back at home? Because obviously, as you said, both your parents are from a sporting background. your brothers both play sport.
Yeah.
So what was it like? So you'd go to...
I remember the day after I went home, and obviously my mum was sad. My mum was upset, which is obviously with baby boys not feeling well, not thinking right, and not being himself.
Yeah.
My dad was being my dad, being the man of the house. My brother came in because he knows what it's like to be a footballer, all the stress and all the anxiety and all that. And I've had a chat with him, and he's just saying to me, go get the help that you need, whatnot. My other brothers telling me the same thing, and but they treat me the same as well. They still treat me the same. I think they had conversations at school instead of me, to realise how I was doing in school. Yeah. And I think they kind of just worked around me. But obviously at the same time they're the same with me. They still take the mick out of me. They still make me take my dishes downstairs, little things like that. So they didn't change with me, but they made sure that they looked after me. They always do look after me anyway, but they kind of make sure that I get the right help that I needed. Yeah. And they always supported me, whatever I wanted to do. Even if I didn't get football, they always supported me, and they didn't care about GCSEs. Yeah. They went as long as you try, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do in life, isn't it? Just give it your best and try. Definitely. So obviously going forward now, you've obviously on the other side of that transition now. So you're no longer with Morecambe. No. But obviously, as the reason we're doing this today, you've got some news in 11 days. Can you tell us a bit more about
so 11 days I'm going over to the States. Yeah. To a college called Jefferson College. Okay. So it's in Missouri. Okay. So like St. Louis, Kansas City, places like that. Yeah. And I'm going over there, done a scholarship. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely. I can't wait to get over there now. But it's been a long time coming, but it's getting closer and closer. But I've kept myself busy in the time of not being at Morecambe. Yeah. So I went and got a job in a pub. I just kept myself busy, extra money, and I loved it. It was sick. I love pouring pints. It was class.
Have you got any goals for when you get out there? Or have you got any targets or anything like that? Or
to be fair, my brothers, I want to do a bit of real estate. I think that's one of the main things I want to do, because there's a lot of money in it. There's so much money in it, especially in America. So I think I just want to do that. I also want to do psychology, maybe, to do with the mind. Yeah. Because the last few weeks I've been going to my old school. Yeah. And I've been doing talks with the children. Yeah. Like the year 9s, 10s and year 12s. Yeah. And to talk about how important it is to look after your own mental health. Yeah, it is. So I want to do stuff like, like in front of big crowds, like the motivational speaking. I want to do stuff like that, hopefully. Obviously football as well. Yeah. I'm not going there just to do all that. Obviously my main priority is football, but obviously I need the education side to get do well in my football. So I want to do as best as possible. I want to go win the nationals. I want to go get to the highest university, the top 20 in the country. I want to do stuff like that. But first I want to enjoy myself. Yeah. I want to experience things. I want to experience spring break. That'd be sick. But obviously my main thing is I'm still going to act like a professional footballer. Yeah. It's the facilities there are unbelievable. Yeah. You may as well be a professional footballer, the way they treat you. Yeah. So definitely, hopefully if you get drafted, get drafted. If not, there's so many other clubs out there. Yeah. But you can go full time too. Yeah. So you just see what the future brings.
That's amazing. That's great to hear. As I said before, so many of my friends have gone over there, and whether they've been drafted or not, you'll get a great job out there, or you'll come back here with so much experience. So you see like how over there their education side is really important, but like I said, you could go out there and study real estate. Do you reckon like here in the UK we need to adopt a bit of that, so when you're doing your scholar, to study something that's relevant instead of just anatomy and physiology and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I did a level 2 in sports. Yeah. And it's pointless. Yeah. It was pointless. Like, what do I do that for? Yeah. What do I do that for? It is...
In that 2 years, you could have learned real estate, or you could learn something like you actually want to do.
Yeah. I think at the same time it's so hard as well, because you're full-time, and even though you got to do college and whatnot, I feel like it depends on the player. If a player wants to do level 2 sports, let him. But at the same time, if a player wants to go do real estate or property or stuff like that, or whatever they want to do, let them go do that as well. But it's make sure that they do it. Yeah. And when they start, they stick to it. Definitely. I think the league association, the LSV, I think they're pretty good. When I joined Morecambe, I kept doing my counselling until Christmas.
That's great. Yeah.
And Morecambe got that for me.
What are some of the let's say, companies that you use to like for counselling, or for example, the stuff like the Mind Foundation, stuff like that?
Well, when I was in school, I used a lot of chat lines.
Okay.
And we did a week called Wellbeing Week, and we raised money for a charity called Papyrus.
Yeah.
So Papyrus is one of the helplines that I used.
Yeah.
And I was just waffling to him, saying how I feel every night, and we raised like £700 for him.
Okay, that's
so
amazing.
That's one of the main things that I used. When I did my counselling in school, it was a school counsellor, so she worked at the school. And then when I did counselling at Morecambe, it was through the PFA.
Okay, yeah.
And I got like 10 sessions out of that, and it led till Christmas.
Yeah, okay.
And it was good. It was good. It helped a lot.
Yeah. So obviously, last year there was a tragic death, obviously, at Jeremy Whiston at City. What advice would you give for, let's say, young players that are maybe in the last year of school, because it is a lot of pressure, or even some that are in the youth team at youth football and stuff like, because the same way there, it's a lot of pressure when you're 15, 16, 17 and even 18. What kind of advice would you give to, let's say, someone who's maybe going through what you went through, or having bad thoughts and stuff like that they can't quite understand, or they don't know where to turn to? What kind of advice would you give?
Just tell someone. Just tell someone. That when I heard about that, obviously, I've got close mates who was mates with him, who knew him, and it killed me seeing how my mates felt about that.
Yeah.
So I could never imagine any of my mates ever doing that.
Yeah.
I look back on me when I wanted to do it, and I felt so sorry for my mates. It kind of hit home a bit.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing your mates feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was a hard time that when I remember that happened, because I knew quite a lot of people who knew him.
Yeah.
And bless him, it was a terrible time. But just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk. It's so easy to say. And I know it's so easy to say. And I know how hard it is to do. But that first time when I went to Sarah, I'm not feeling good. I went to one of the teachers, I'm not feeling good for the first time. It's so hard to say, but when I said it, I felt like loads of air just came out of me.
Yeah.
And I started to realise, okay, I need to talk.
Definitely.
But, apparently that Jeremy was a great kid.
Yeah.
Apparently he was always smiling. All the pictures I've seen of him, he was always smiling.
Yeah.
But it just shows that
you never know what's
behind someone's eyes. And it's scary. That's the very scariest things. So that's why I always that's what my ambitions try to be, is to normalise mental health.
Yeah.
So make it a normal thing that if someone is struggling, okay, that's fine, not a problem. You're going to get the help that you need, because there's always someone to help. There's always someone you can turn to. But definitely, I think just that first word you say and open up, it becomes a lot easier.
Definitely. I think I definitely agree with that. Like I said, it took me 3-4 years to open up properly, to go see someone and things like that. So when that happened last year, like it really did hit home quite hard. And like I said, at the moment I'm working with a lot of people behind the scenes in football to see if we can get more mental health support in football, more support for kids, more options of just helping kids to be men, and to be able to talk about their feelings without feeling ashamed.
You're a bigger man if you open up about your feelings. Definitely.
Exactly.
It's always that stigma about you're not a man if you don't feel right, or you feel upset. I don't want to swear, but
I can swear it is.
Yeah, bollocks to it. You're a man if you open up.
Yeah,
simple
definitely.
as that. You're a bigger man if you open up.
Yeah, 100%. So there we have it, guys. Harry, thank you very much for coming on today and sharing your story. I think it'll be one that a lot of people, it will resonate with them, and they'll be able to, like I said, relate to everything that you said. Good luck out in America as well. We'll definitely keep in touch with you. We'll put all your links in the description of this podcast, and we'll also link the link to the walk as well on there. I think everyone that watches this should definitely go and give it a watch. It's only 8 minutes long, but it's definitely a powerful documentary.
Thank you.
And as I said before, we'll always talk about mental health. We'll always talk about speaking out and talking about your feelings. If you're ever down, it's nothing to be ashamed of, you know what I mean? As I said again, thank you for tuning in today. Harry, thanks for coming down.
Cheers, appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.